A short introduction before we start. We have a joint webinar and live demo of two companies. We have MicroGenesis, where Girish is from, and Girish is the head of technical services. And MicroGenesis is an Atlassian solution partner who provides different training and services for Atlassian users. And we have SoftComply, where Margus and myself are from. And what SoftComply does is that we provide regulatory compliance solutions for medical device and other safety critical domain users on Atlassian stack. So what we are doing today is that we have combined two different demos. One is about, which Girish is taking us through, about the basics of setting up on Jira and Confluence, and he will slightly touch also on linking Jira and Confluence. And from there, we are going to look into more details into how you can link Jira and Confluence in terms of establishing traceability. Traceability is a particularly important point for regulated industries, because you need to show that all requirements have been analyzed from the point of view of risks, and then the risk mitigations have been taken care of also, as verified their efficacy, and for that you need to link tests to that. So we look at this this linking also once Girish has gone through the basics of how you set Jira up, how you set Confluence up, and how you do the generic linking of these two apps or two tools. Girish will have 30 minutes for webinar and for his webinar and demo, and then Margus takes over, and then we try to leave a 10-minute Q&A to the end. So obviously, if you have any questions during the presentations, feel free to write them down in Q&A. You can vote for them. I will try and moderate the questions in the end based on the popularity of the questions. And of course, if we see that it's easier or some questions are very long, we can always, of course, allow you to chat about it so that we can have a discussion instead of a monologue. So we'll kick off now with Girish, and if you have any questions or want to chat in the meantime, as you are hearing the presentations, there is a Q&A section here in the bottom of the Zoom screen, and the chat as well. All right, I think we are ready, Girish, to get started.
Thanks, Marion. So let me go ahead and quickly share my screen.
Yep, it's up.
Okay, all right. So thanks, Marion, for the quick introduction. So I'll quickly walk you through what is MicroGenesis into, and also I'll talk about Jira and Confluence integration and very basics on those, help you get started. So agenda for today's meeting is a quick glimpse on MicroGenesis, and then introduction to Jira, introduction to Confluence. We'll also talk about how we can work together with Jira and Confluence. So this is MicroGenesis, where we have an industry experience of over 2 decades with 12 plus industries where we provide solutions and services to. Over 150 plus clients globally located, 10 plus strategic partnerships, and 12 plus solutions and service offerings. And we have a global footprint of offices and partners and customers over 12 countries. So here's our a map of our global presence, where we have our offices in India, Bangalore. That's where our headquarters is. And we have client service offerings in India, Germany, and Sweden, development centers in India, Germany, and Sweden. And we have a strong partner network in Germany, Sweden, North America, Australia, Singapore, and UK. So this is a quick our lifecycle engineering practice, how it happens in MicroGenesis, right from conceptualizing to the launch and helping you jumpstart with initiatives the growth, following up with the reinforcement, right? Finally attaining the maturity, right? We have this revitalization phase, revitalize phase, and then continued revitalization process, right? Which is the continued afterlife phase. So few of our key strengths are product lifecycle management, testing services, cloud services, mobility solutions, data analytics, and also IT infrastructure management. Here's our technology experience. We have over 300 plus niche skilled engineers deployed to develop modern solutions, supporting over 100 plus technologies. A few of them are Atlassian, IBM, AWS, Amazon, MySQL, Automation Anywhere, Microsoft Platform, New Relic, JMeter, PHP. All these are, very few of the areas or technologies that we have been working hands-on. So mainly we are into ALM, software and systems engineering, DevOps, DevSecOps, enterprise information management, robotic process automation, data analytics, IoT, blockchain, machine learning, AI, and big data. So now I'll be talking more about focusing on Jira software, very basics of Jira software. In the coming sessions, I'm sure we'll be touching more and in detailed working methodologies, how best you can rationalize your investments on Jira and Confluence or any of the Atlassian tools. So today I'll be mainly touching on the basics of Jira and Confluence. So understanding Jira, most of you would have already worked on Jira. If not, then I just wanted to tell you that Jira is a tool which helps teams to perform, visualize, and manage work. Right? It's more of a work operating system. This also helps models the team's current processes and workflows. Right? May it be not just for engineering teams. It can be your finance. It can be facilities team. It can be HR. It can be your operations team. Right? Jira can fit in to every business unit. So what is a Jira project? So a project is a collection of related issues. So when I say issues, it can be story, task, bugs, request, service request, a to-do list, can have fixed end or to be an ongoing project, right? When we talk about task, it will always have a due date. So that's why I was just mentioning, it can have a fixed end date or it can be ongoing task. And then a project has an associated type, right? You can have a Kanban, which is morely, suiting your waterfall development methodologies, and Scrum, which is, more of sprints, iterations, program increments, and all of these. So below, this is something I just wanted to give you a fair idea. What is a project, right? I'm going to work on some iOS product. Then that qualifies to be called as a project. Similarly, HR onboarding. I can have issues to onboard users, offboard users. So that can be called as a project by itself, right? Or I'm developing a robotic surgery arm machine as a medtech industry. And this could be a project called as a project as well. Now, when we call a project is associated with the issue types. Like a software development project can have issue type such as story, epic, bugs, tasks, subtasks, right? You can call anything, right? For HR, you can have issue type like onboarding task or offboarding task, leave request. So you can have all these type of issue types. So every issue is unique in Jira. Each issue belongs to just one project, right? It has an issue will have an issue key, which is an identity. That which project does that issue key belong to? Issues are project work items. So I already touched based on the different issue types that you can relate to. So coming to a robotic arm surgery project, right? I can have story, right? Saying that I can write stories. For example, provide a button for auto alignment of arms. It's a requirement which can also be called as a story. We'll talk about creating Jira projects. I'll talk more in my demo session. So generally, when we talk about Jira projects, yeah, you have different type of projects. Let's say one type of project is software project for software teams, where you can create Kanban, Scrum, bug tracking kind of projects. Then there is Jira Service Management project, where you can have a workspace for IT service management, general service management, HR service management, facilities service management, and so on. And then comes Jira Work Management projects, right? Which is more of a project management, small projects. You want to do something in 2 days. It will have a set of tasks that you want to group together. And this is where these work management projects can come into play. And some you can also use as for recruitment, for employee onboarding, document approvals, and so on. Creating a Jira issue, it's very simple. I'm going to show you this. You can, there's a create button. You click on create, it brings you a screen. You just select the project where you want to create this issue under, select the issue type, summary, description, assignee, and this form can be completely customized as per your business requirement. And we'll also talk about Jira project permissions, right? Many of you will have questions. Okay, how do I add people to the project, right? Somebody comes, my new employee comes and says, hey, I don't have access to Jira project, right? So how do you add people to the project? Generally, when we talk about permissions of the project, permissions are given to roles, right? So there are different roles in the Jira project. There's a developer role, or there is a QA user role, or there can be just a user role or a visitor role. So when we design permissions, let's say, in this screenshot, you will see browse project permission, which is nothing but any user who is part of these role, which is add-on project access role, or any logged in user, right? They will automatically have access to all the issues within that project. So this is out of the box screenshot what I've showed you, but this can be completely customized. You can hide certain issues from certain people or certain departments, right? Like let's say if you're using this for an HR application, you don't want anybody else other than the reporter of the issue and the HR team to have access into that. So you can customize this security as well. And then finally, the Jira notifications. Right? Sometimes people complain, I don't get notification at all. Or some people say, I get too many notifications, right? So there is a way to control. You can always go and work on your Jira notifications. It allows you to tune or to configure when you want to trigger email notifications and to whom you want to trigger email notifications. For example, issue created. Here it says all watchers of the issue, then current assignee and reporter of the issue will get notification. Similarly, you have various events that you can trigger custom notifications. Talking about Confluence. What is Confluence? So it's a team content, or you can call it your team's website or a web page for your team, right? It's a collaboration space. You can use it like a version team website or a social media platform for your team or for your organization. You can do your planning, discussions, document management, meeting notes holder, broadcast the work or project information, everything through the Confluence. You can use it as a knowledge management. You can extend Confluence capabilities for diagramming, right? You have third-party add-ons, which allows you to create diagrams within Confluence, right? Which can easily replace Visio. Connect your external product databases and pull results directly into Confluence, especially on the analytics and all that. Ability to simultaneously edit, when the entire team is sitting and editing on a certain project or working on some documentation, you can do concurrent editing. So, which is again a native feature of Confluence. Maintain traceability, right? Where you can trace the histories, versions, and the conversations. You can always go back and forth between your page versions. You can also track combine the two versions to track the changes between the two versions of pages. So all this is within possible within the Confluence. Next, what is a Confluence space? As I said, it's a team's project knowledge. Is usually part of a single space. It's a workspace, right? HR team may need their own space, and then engineering team or different teams within engineering department would require their own team space. So that's nothing but a collection of pages is called as a space in Confluence. We'll also learn about creating a space in Confluence. Practically, I'm going to demonstrate that to you. How do you create a space? How do you name the space key, how you can easily identify your space, and the space permissions. And then we'll also talk about creating new pages in Confluence. You can use hundreds of templates when you try to create a new page in Confluence. Something similar to Word, right? You have hundreds of templates that you can search online and get. Similarly, Confluence has hundreds of templates. You can create your own templates as well. So we'll practically see how we can create pages and use these templates. And then the very interesting thing is macros and Jira integration, right? Macros in Confluence allows you to enrich the pages with external content. Let's say you want to add a YouTube video, you can do that. You can embed that in your Confluence page. You can embed your Word file, Excel file, PowerPoint, endless possibilities. You can even have macros. You can purchase third-party macros, which allows you to run SQL queries from within Confluence page and get the results directly in the Confluence page. And an excellent tight integration between Jira, right? So you can mention something about a Jira issue from within Confluence, and Jira issue automatically picks up that this issue has been mentioned in so-and-so Confluence page automatically, right? I'm going to show you that, how they work. So it's a demo time. And let me quickly take you through the demo. Just give me a moment. Okay, I guess you can see my screen now.
All good, yep.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's talk about creating Jira project, right? This is Jira. So you see that this is a test Jira instance, which I've just put up here. So we'll talk about how do you create a new project in Jira. So you go to projects drop down. Now remember, you should be a site administrator before you can have access to create new projects, right? So click on projects, click on create project, and then it is going to give you an option. What kind of project do you want to create, right? Whether you want to create a software development project with these Kanban, Scrum, bug tracking, or a kind of service management project, right? Where you can use this for your IT service management or general service management, HR service management, or as simple as work management, right? Whether you want to use a marketing project just for marketing, for content management, email campaigns, and so on. So we'll create a software project right now. So I'm going to select Kanban. Now it is going to ask select a project template. So I'll use this template, which is Kanban. Now it is going to ask me, do you want to create a next gen project, or I can say team managed project, right? Which, you can have your own workflows, you can have your own statuses, fields, and all that. Or you can have a company managed project. I recommend company managed because there will be standardized templates, standardized fields. Tomorrow, if you want to transfer Jira issue from one project to another project, then company managed templates are more helpful, right? You should not have more diversity within these projects, right? I understand HR would need a separate field, and engineering would need separate fields on your screen. But within the engineering, I would generally recommend, you should have almost similar workflows, right? So it's easy to toss issues from one team to another team. So I'll select company managed project. So it's asking me for the project name. So let me say demo Girish 2, and the key will be DGT, right? And then I'm going to click on create button. So now you can see it has already created a project for me. Very easy, right? Now talking about creating issues. Now once the project is created, you have a create button here, right? You can simply click on create, and you can select which project you want to create this issue under, right? I'm going to select demo Girish 2, or I can even select the previous project which I created, or contract tracking project. See, one thing you should notice that as I keep changing the project, even the screens change, right? The fields change. So I'm going to stick to my project, which I just now that I created, and I'm going to see the issue type. Remember, these projects will have their own issue types. I can create custom issue types as well. So here I'll select story as an issue type, and I will say create a new set of analytics for my mobile app, right? And I can also create attachments. Just click on browse, and I can scroll down and attach any of the files here, right? It's quite a huge file. Okay, so you can see it just attaches, and then you can simply click on create. Now if there are different fields, you can certainly use these fields like priority and labels. All this will help you tomorrow to search these, right? I can write a query to say show me all issues where label is demo. So it pulls me all the issues where I have set a label as demo, right? Epic, again, I was talking you earlier about the hierarchy, right? It starts with the story. Stories can have subtasks. Subtasks can, then stories can have epics above them. Epic is nothing but a collection of stories or a large story. So if I want to link this to an existing epic, I can just search that and I can link here, right? And then I'll just go and click on create. So as soon as I create, you will see this issue in the backlog, right? I can simply drag and progress this through the different workflow statuses, right? And this is how an issue will work. So now moving on, I will also talk to you quickly about the permissions, right? Project permissions. So let me go to project settings here on the left-hand side, bottom corner. Now, if you want to know as an administrator or a project admin, who gets what permission in this project, you simply click on permissions, and you will see browse project. These roles will have a browse project access. Similarly, view read-only workflow, or manage permission, administer permission. So there are different roles. See here, there is a role called Scrum Master. If you add a person to this role, he will have an administrator access in this project. So how do you add people to these roles? So there is a section called people under project settings. You click on that, and then you can search people here. Let's say I want to search Santi. Okay, I don't find him. Let me see. One second, sorry. I'll click on add, and then I'll start searching for Santi, right? So I'll select Santi, and then it will ask me which role do you want me to add him, right? So there were administrators role, then developers role, Scrum Master role, right? I'm just going to add him as a Scrum Master and click on add. So now you will see that there is a flyer notification which says that Santi has been added. So now he's in this role. So you can also select multiple roles just by clicking on this drop down, or if you don't want this person to have this role, you can always come here and click on remove. Okay, so this speaks about managing the permissions. So now moving on, we'll go to notifications. So again, notifications are managed by administrators of the project. So as a project admin, administrators of Jira. So as a project admin, you still have permission to click here and see when all you will be notified, right? When issue is created, when issue is updated, when issue is resolved, assigned, commented, someone adds a comment, then who gets a notification? All watchers, current assignee, and the reporter of the issue gets notified. So you can edit it as an administrator. I have admin access, so I can always go and edit these notifications, right? And then I can say, who else do I need to notify other than these three roles, right? I'll click on add, and that allows me to add new people. Like what happens when issue is resolved? Whom do I want to notify, right? This group of members or a certain project role, and so on, right? We'll learn this more in the detailed sessions, upcoming detailed sessions. So next we'll move on to Confluence, just in respect of time. So we'll talk about how do you create a space, right? Space is nothing but like how we created a project in Jira, we can create a space. So click on spaces. We can click on view all spaces. Now you see a button called create space. You click on that. And it will tell you what kind of space do you want to create. Do you want to create a documentation space? Do you want to create a team space, personal space, right? Blank space. So I'm going to simply click on, documentation space. So space name, what do you want me to name this space, right? So I'll just put it as demo Girish. And the space key is already taken, DG automatically populates. I can also give some more characters there. And then permission, right? Whether default permission that everyone has access, or do you want to copy permission from another space, or do you want to limit the permission as of now? So I'll just limit it, right? Only visible for me. So later I can add people into this space. So I clicked on create. So it will take like 30 seconds. And here you go. So we have a new space here. This is for the documentation. So you can see there is already, meeting notes and articles and all that already pre-populated for you, right? So creating a new Confluence space is easy. You can simply click on create here, and it will create a page under the parent wherever you are, right? So I was under the space called demo Girish. So now I'm here. And I can also select the templates. Which page template do I need? So let's say I want to use competitive analysis template, right? So I click on this and it automatically loads all the content to my page. So you need to give a page title. And then you will click on publish on the right-hand side top corner. So now the page is created. Now, if you want to edit the page, click on edit. And now you can start filling in the information, right? So let's say, a competitor, right? XYZ is my competitor, and this is the date created. I can click edit. I can mention people. Let's say I want to mention Santi, right? At the rate. I'll just put at rate. Right? I can mention people. What happens when I mention people? It triggers a notification directly to them. So this is how you can update the information on the page. So I'll click on publish. Now this page is saved. Okay. Now you see this newly created page here. Now I'll also show you about macros. So I'm going to create a blank page for now. Okay, blank demo page. And this is my demo page. So I'm going to mention a Jira issue, right? This is what I was talking about, the Jira and Confluence integration, seamless integration, right? I click on Jira. I want to mention a Jira issue here, right? And then it will tell me I can search for a Jira issue. I can create a new issue in Jira, or I can also go through recently viewed issues, right? So I created a issue recently, DGT1. So I'll just click on this. I'll click on insert. So now you can see that it automatically inserts the link. Now this is Confluence, right? So it has already inserted a link here. So if I go and click on publish, I'll just show you how this page looks like, right? So you see that this Jira issue link is mentioned here. Now, if I click on this link, it will straight away take me to the Jira page. DGT1 is the issue. Now you can also see, got it. So this is the Jira issue, which was mentioned in the Confluence page. So if I go back, apart from this, you can also use Confluence like earlier I was saying, right? If you want to add other macros, one was Jira, right? Similarly, if you want to add different macros, right? I can click on view more. You have the set of macros, right? Advanced roadmaps for Jira, right? You can pull those reports from Jira and blog posts, charts, change history, contributors, so many. There are hundreds of gadgets which are available, or macros which are available that you can add. Okay, so this brings to the end of this demo. But yeah, before I hand it over to Margus, I just wanted to quickly show you permissions as well at the page level, right? So you have this ellipse button or the 3 dots. Whenever you open a page, you click on that. Sorry, yeah. One second. You click on share. You can click on share, and you can also try to start typing the name of the person whom you would like to share. Let's say I want to share with somebody called Dilip. I click here and I can click on send, right? It triggers a notification. I can also restrict the page, right? Like who can view, who can edit, right? Let's say anyone can edit, view and edit, right? Now it is anyone. So if I want to only specific people, then I can start looking for their names. Let's say Santi, just pick him. Then I'll say whether, should he have an edit access or view access? So I think he should just have he should have an edit access. So I click on add. So now he will have access to edit this page. Similarly, you can see everyone has no access. That means this page is locked. Remember when I created this space, I said it's only visible to me. So it means it's a private space. Okay, that brings to an end of this demo. So we'll take any questions if you have towards the end of this meeting. There's a Q&A session. So now I would pass this baton to Margus.
Yes, thanks.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
And we'll then look at the traceability side. And it was a good intro given by Girish, just to explain all the basics that you just need to know if you start building different reporting for whatever your need is actually. And yeah, first, the traceability is actually a requirement in safety critical domains, and you have to review and analyze your product from the requirements perspective. Like, what if some requirements are causing some sort of like harm? to the user. So you need to show to the auditors and notified bodies that you have analyzed your products or even service through, and it's completely safety. And in order to prove that, then comes the safety into your game. And you need to show that all possible risks that might happen with your tool are mitigated, are connected with correct requirements that mitigates this. And then, of course, if all the risks are mitigated to accepted level, then it's all fine by you, and then typically your product will be accepted by the auditors and then will be launched publicly. So now let's jump into traceability. So as Girish told, in Jira we have different issue types. We can keep requirements there, we can keep our test cases there, and everything else. But if we're looking at traceability, then in our mind are just those three things basically. We have requirements, we have risks, and then we have test cases. So these three are the cornerstones for traceability. And now we will look first how we can get some sort of reporting out with Jira and Confluence. But first, the traceability is basically pretty simple. First of all, if we start building some sort of traceability report, we need to always know what we're looking for. And then we can already build the necessary search query and then display it out in our reports. Whether the reports is in Jira or Confluence, that's a matter of taste basically. And of course we can use our own SoftComply Risk Manager spreadsheet view to also use as traceability proof. But yeah, first let's jump into Jira and look how the risks are typically listed inside Jira. So this is a standard hazard analysis spreadsheet view from SoftComply Risk Manager. We have described here several risks. We have assessed the initial risk value by defining the initial severity and probability. Then it's really easy just to add different mitigation actions and verification actions as linked issues. You just need to start typing something, and from the list you can just pick an issue, then some specific link between the specific risk and requirement or test case is established. So it's the traceability falls back to relationship between different issues. So you can have requirements in your Jira. This is really basically out of the box Jira usage. You will just keep your software or hardware development requirements in a separate Jira project. You list them, you plan them, and then work with them. Then also you can have separate project for risk, like we have here. This project has risk model established by defining the risk matrix. We have severity and probability values, and then actually under the spreadsheet view that you just a moment ago saw, you can start entering risk and then creating links between risks and either requirements or test cases. And now if we're starting to look what sort of like traceability information we can get out, then the key thing is actually having those links established between your your Jira issues. And if you follow the standards for risk management, then you know that you need to have this different mitigation actions assigned to each risk, and then also the verification actions. Then it's pretty easy. It's obvious that you enter the risk, you evaluate its initial level, then you mitigate it. It means that you create some new requirements to mitigate some risk. You can connect this mitigation action with risk issue easily inside or during the risk management activity. Then you of course create the test cases for each requirement and link also those test cases to risk. So if you just follow a simple kind of like common understandings for development, then it's the linking between issues is something you will do anyways. And then you already have all the traceability information inside your tool. As Girish showed you, you can move from Confluence to Jira, from Jira to Confluence seamlessly, because you have the same user, you have same session, you can move from one tool to another without having any issues. And then now if we start building the traceability reports, there's also different ways to do it. And as I mentioned, first you need to know what you're looking for. As if we are looking at it from the risk perspective, then we just have to know that every risk is a separate Jira issue, as it is for requirements and for test cases also with most of the test management applications. And you can define exact search query what you need to display in your reporting. Like maybe you're releasing soon some new features for your products, then you probably need to get out this new version related requirements and then all the related risks also, and create basically this sort of reporting. For traceability, you need to look at it from both sides, from requirement side and from risk side also. So you can just easily get all the risks with all specific field values. Like for example, I can create the search query inside Jira that provide me only risks that have initially high value or even like residually still high value. And this is a standard Jira search output. So you can see different fields having values. I can switch to JQL also because this is pretty simple query. But yeah, it's easy just to create this query and use it in different places. Jira search queries are called filters, and then you can use this filter in dashboard to be displayed out, and then also in Confluence to be displayed out. And of course, the outputs you can configure. You can configure which columns you wish to see. You can show the links. This is also a good proof for traceability. And now if I'm switching to one of the example, really simple out-of-the-box gadgets dashboard, then we can see that we can show those filter results out on your dashboard. You can see risks, you can see traceability links, that some are for test cases, some are for development issues or requirement. What's the initial risk value, what's the residual value. So in order to create reporting, you just need to customize what you are displaying on a dashboard. You can use risk matrices, filter results, filter count gadgets are really useful to have specific reporting established. So this is really used with Jira's own features, and the main or the two best gadgets to create traceability reports are these filter results and two-dimensional filters as well. So basically, you can just customize really easily which sort of fields you wish to display, and then just display it in your dashboard. So for traceability, you just need to have some specific issues and the issue links to be displayed out. Later on, you can use this data wherever you need. The same kind of output is actually on Confluence side. So now I'm switching to Confluence, and you already saw that we have some space with some different pages. And here we have also created some reporting pages, and we have here simple requirements risk traceability page, basically. So we have all the requirements listed in this specific version, summary, some issue types, and all those IDs for the linked issues. Some risks, some test cases are connected, and this was just a matter of configuring the same Jira issue macro that Girish just previously showed. If you have created this saved search query on Jira side, then you can just use Jira issue macro and configure yourself which fields you wish to view, and then the report is basically done with 1 minute. So it's really simple to just create the different simple traceability matrices, and they're perfectly usable because if the search query that it pulls data from is correct and reviewed and tested, then these reports are always up to date. You can just click on those issues, move back and forth to Jira, and export those reports anytime you wish. And yes, so this is, for example, some sort of requirements overview table. We have versions, epic links, statuses, and below here is a bit simpler table. Basically, it's the same risks, but we have just specific links outlined here. Now, for traceability, yes, we need to have different views from different sides, like from risk side, from requirement side, but it's all the same. First, create the filter on Jira side, and then just customize the output either on dashboard or in Confluence already. And then you can see that you can easily just list all your risks with initial risk values, residual values, or even have this sort of more comprehensive risk traceability, where we can see all those linked issues also displayed out in a table next to all the severity, probability, and risk values. So it's all basically falls back to just a few steps. First, know which report are you willing to create as the next one. Then search the correct issues, think through all those data inputs that you need. This can be done easily with Jira filters and Jira search queries. And then already put those Jira issue filter gadgets on your Jira dashboard or on your Confluence pages. And this is quick overview from our side. Of course, you can always use this risk management spreadsheet view also, because that can be exported also into different formats. Soon we will have dashboard gadgets for this table and then risk matrix as well. So then it's even easier to build risk traceability documents. So hopefully in the end of the summer is all available on Confluence side as well. But yeah, other than that, it's doable also with out-of-the-box features that Atlassian already offers. So yeah, I think we have now time for questions. I kind of quickly went over the traceability part and what you should use for that, but now maybe some questions.
Thank you, Margus. Thank you, Girish, as well for your presentation and demo. If we have one question just came in. Terence, I'm going to give you, I'm going to allow you to talk. You're muted at the moment. Feel free to ask the question if you wish, Terence.
Delphi technique, fishbone and Swift analysis.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you now.
All right. So yeah, one of the important things with this traceability metrics is performing analysis when you where you can measure what is the severity and things like that. So there are different techniques of performing analysis. So does Jira or Confluence provide this templates to perform the analysis, and then where we can add on the severities or link them to the risk management? Like there are different techniques like Delphi, Fishbone, Swift analysis, and things like that. So does Jira or Confluence have things like that, or templates with where we can do this such analysis?
The templates are not, at least not from out of the box. You probably need to put it together in your site, and then, for example, in Confluence, you can build your necessary templates and then reuse those. So Confluence templates can be built by yourself as well. So
okay.
So not out of the box.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Got it. I also had another question on Confluence. I think probably this is to the earlier discussion that Girish was having. So when you create on Confluence, and you said you can share files or data like videos and things like that. So is there a limit on how much we can share? And is this something that we can share outside the organization? Like if I'm in a particular organization and there's a other consultation team that I want to share the files with, will Confluence provide permissions to share it, probably restricted permissions, but still permissions to share it outside the organization?
Yeah, to your answer, to your question, the answer is yes. You can share it with any user as long as they are a named user in Confluence, which means when you add a user into Confluence, it consumes a license.
But I think there are some paid add-ons that you can use to share the Confluence pages. At least I don't have anything in my mind right now for Confluence pages. I know that at least for Jira there is this send Jira issue by email, so then you can send it also outside from your organization. I'm pretty sure there's something.
I think Kumalatech had something on server.
Yeah, so
right.
I'm
looking more. Yeah, sorry. I'm looking more for if there's a huge file like a report file or probably a code-based file that I need to share with the, let's say, other vendors or client who's not part of my organization. So will Confluence provide me such a benefit?
Yeah, you can. You certainly you can, as I mentioned, right? Let's say vendor has an email ID at gmail.com, right?
Okay.
You
Yeah.
can onboard, that xyz@gmail.com into your Confluence as a user, and then you can grant access to that user.
But then you mentioned something about license. So is that consuming another license or something like that, or?
Yes, because it is a named user, it will consume a license. If you don't want to consume a license, the only other way is to export the page into PDF and then share it via email or something like that. But if you want to give them live access where they can log in and work on your pages, then it has to be a named user. The other option is you can create anonymous access to your pages, right? You can create a separate space. You can give anonymous access that anybody can access.
This is of course not secure.
Absolutely,
Okay.
right. I mean, you cannot use it, right?
You
Your
can,
reports and things like that.
but yeah, you have to consider either security or but anyways, you can add attachments and share those with all your colleagues or partners, however you like.
All right, understood. Thank you.
Anyone else? If you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand so we can also just chat about it. So we don't need you don't need to write them down. The presentations were so good and clear that nobody has any questions anymore.
Good to hear.
And obviously, I will share the webinar and demo recording with all of you, and we can always have a follow-up call with anyone who is interested in looking at a specific type of traceability or look at the risks or yeah, any questions that you may have.
Today it was really just basic, just to show the directions, but in real life, of course, the things aren't always so simple because the search queries are a bit more complex. Than if you don't have really good overview, that you might need to ask your Jira admin or Jira power user to help you out with that. So you can always ask us.
So no more questions, but a thank you note from Kunal. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, everybody. And like I said, if you have any questions afterwards, feel free to let us know and we can always follow up with another call. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Girish. Thanks, Margus.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And have a good evening. Bye.
Yeah, have a great rest of your evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.